and Davenport, a connection people rely on every day for work, school, and getting around the Quad Cities. The purpose of this project is to improve safety, mobility, connectivity, and long-term reliability, improving motorized and non-motorized travel now and in the future. This study explores how to attain those improvements with careful consideration of both positive and negative effects within the study area. Transportation projects that require federal permits or use of federal funds follow a defined environmental review process. Under the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, we evaluate a range of alternatives, consider their potential impacts, and identify a preferred alternative to move forward for federal approval. This process ensures that potential environmental and community impacts are studied carefully with the goal of minimizing impacts to the extent possible. Transportation projects like this happen in 3 phases. Phase 1 includes engineering and environmental studies to study the corridor, gather input, and develop solutions. Phase 2 includes finalizing the design, land acquisition, and preparing contract plans to move forward into construction. And Phase 3 is construction, which would not begin until after the I-80 Mississippi River Bridge replacement is completed. This project is currently in Phase 1, which means we're focused on data collection, community input, developing alternatives that address the purpose and need for the project corridor, and ultimately selecting a preferred alternative. Over the last couple of months, the project study team has continued to analyze and refine multiple alternatives and recommend additional alternatives for elimination. However, the preferred alternative has not yet been identified. Public input is an important part of the Phase 1 process. At the last public meeting, we presented the recommended list of alternatives to be further evaluated, which included the no-build alternative, which means continued maintenance but no major improvements, bridge rehabilitation, a new twin structure along with rehabilitating the existing bridge, bridge reconstruction, and bridge replacement. Throughout this process, we've heard from many of you at public meetings, advisory group meetings, one-on-one meetings, through comments, and in conversations across the community. Input from all these groups helped shape the purpose and need for the project, and the alternatives that have been developed and evaluated. Since the last public meeting, the alternatives were further refined and evaluated based on several criteria, including the project purpose and need, life expectancy of the proposed improvement, environmental and community impacts, temporary and long-term traffic impacts, and cost. Based on this analysis and public input, 3 of the alternatives are now recommended to be eliminated. These are bridge rehabilitation, a new twin structure along with rehabilitating the existing bridge, and bridge reconstruction. These alternatives were recommended for removal for a few key reasons. In some cases, they didn't fully meet the project's goals, wouldn't provide a long-lasting solution,
What's happening for free?
or would require extended bridge closures during reconstruction. That brings us to where we are today. In addition to the no-build alternative, the 2 remaining alternatives are both full bridge replacements. Alternative E2 keeps the crossing in a similar location to today, replacing the bridge just west of the existing structure. It maintains current travel patterns and allows the existing bridge to stay open during construction. It performs well across key areas including minimizing impacts in Rock Island and Davenport, maintaining connectivity, and providing long-term reliability. It also reduces long-term disruptions during and after construction. Alternative E7 shifts the crossing to connect 11th Street in Rock Island to Marquette Street in Davenport. While it creates an improved connection, it requires a larger bridge and more change to surrounding areas with greater impacts to nearby properties and communities. Both alternatives improve the corridor, but they come with different trade-offs in terms of costs, impacts, and how the corridor functions. At this point in the study, and based on the evaluation completed, 3 alternatives remain. But the preferred alternative has not yet been selected. We want to hear from you. Your feedback on the evaluation process and on the remaining alternatives helps complete the project's team's understanding of the potential issues, opportunities, and impacts. Your input will help determine the best path forward. After this meeting, we'll review your feedback and continue refining and evaluating the options. The next step will be to recommend a preferred alternative. The preferred alternative will reflect technical analysis, environmental considerations, and public and stakeholder input. Public involvement will continue as the project moves into the next phase. We encourage you to share your input on the alternatives in any of the following ways. Complete the comment form provided today, or submit comments through the project website at centennialbridge.com. All public input is being documented and considered. Comments received by June 3rd, 2026 will be included in the final meeting record. We invite you to join us into the exhibit area to take a closer look at the alternatives. Representatives from the Illinois and Iowa Departments of Transportation, as well as our professional consultant team, are available to help provide information and answer questions. Thank you for taking the time to participate in the US 67 Centennial Bridge Corridor project. Together, we can create a corridor that serves the communities for generations to come. This concludes the presentation.
We appreciate you taking the time to stay involved. Today, we'll provide an update on the project and walk through the improvement concepts known as alternatives that are still being considered. We're getting closer to identifying.